Welcome back to Terror by the Bay. I'm David. Ron DeSantis has been making some headlines recently, not the least of which off of a debate that he's going to do on Hannity with Gavin Newsom. I just did a video on that. He recently got endorsement from a large evangelical leader in Iowa ahead of the Iowa caucuses, which happens in mid-January. And Chip Roy, who's I believe a Texas congressman, is also putting his endorsement behind Ron DeSantis. So on the positive side of things, DeSantis' name is getting out there and he's getting some endorsements. On the downside of things, the super PAC that's not supposed to coordinate with DeSantis, but pretty much does. The head of that super PAC has just resigned just before Thanksgiving, citing that his position was untenable, indicating that there's some fighting going on in the super PAC. Super PACs are allowed to raise an unlimited amount of money. And while they cannot coordinate with campaigns, they can endorse candidates and do stuff like that. Basically a shadow candidacy that's there to skirt campaign finance rules. There were concerns about the DeSantis campaign running short on funds. So this will be kind of a general reading on Ron DeSantis and how his presidential campaign is looking, and then we'll look at some details here. Okay, given DeSantis's current situation for his presidential run in 2024, how are things going with his presidential run? Entertainment purposes only. Remember that thing I was saying about the super PAC and skirting rules and stuff like that? Yeah. Not so much a super PAC as much as a super grab. I think he's sneaking around, backdooring. He's stolen some endorsements that probably Trump was expecting. Let's put the spin that way. Between Chip Roy's endorsement and getting the evangelical leaders endorsement in Iowa and such, getting some primetime airtime on Hannity, he's stealing some of the thunder from the other candidates on the floor and from Donald Trump. So in some ways, things are going okay for him in that regard. But he's crossed with the challenges of his decisions. You might get on Hannity to debate Gavin Newsom, but if he makes you look like a fool, did it do you any good? There's some sorrow and disappointment here. He's making some gains, but this might be too little too late. And if DeSantis starts thinking that it's too little too late for his campaign, he's got a decision to make. Do you keep running or do you stop? What I'm not saying, but I'm thinking is there's money to be made, right? With your super PAC and skirting the rules on campaign finance, which apparently a lot of the politicians seem to enjoy doing and getting away with without any punishments. Do you want to stop when there's money to be pilfered? And there you go. In the past, you've got the dark money. This is group work and working together. This could be working on his campaign, but there's a lot of dark money that's going on in here. And there's rumors that the DeSantis campaign was running short on cash to the point where they fired a dozen or so campaign workers on there because money was a bit of an issue. Current situation is the Four of Cups. Even though he's had some victories, again, some endorsements and such, generally speaking, the campaign is not going well, and maybe the advice or the guidance he's being given isn't the news he wants to hear. Being tied for second place in Iowa is great, but when you only hold 12% of the votes and Trump has 60, that's not exactly good news for you. there's a lot going on in this man's world. Trying to run this campaign, trying to run Florida into the ground, and a number of lawsuits that you have to face. And then the weirdness of your shoes because you wear lifts on them. All these things take their toll. Now he's got this debate with Newsom that he may not be preparing for. And if that doesn't go well, that's going to be an embarrassment to him. He's got a lot going on his plate. And I suspect that he's actually kind of at a breaking point, which is why he's just been acting out and being such a jerk to people. King of Wands. The lesson to be learned is you need to be in control of your actions. He's the one who can relieve the burden by making appropriate decisions. I don't think he trusts people. I don't think he's the type that enjoys delegating very much because people don't do the things that he wants them to, not the way that he would have them do it. But again, if we're at a crossroads here, he needs to be the one that makes the decision. Nobody's going to make that decision for him. The outcome is the Devil card. He is... Honestly, if his campaign's going to have any chance of success, he needs to go after Trump. He just absolutely does. He needs to just be criticizing Donald Trump 24/7. And I don't know if he wants to do that. The other thing I'm getting from this is he's going to just keep doing what he's doing because it's working for him. For whatever it is, for whatever's happening is working with him. He's going to take the thing that benefits him the most, and it might be quite destructive to folks around him. And the next card on the deck is it's about money. So I think whatever decision he makes, it's because it's going to be in his best financial interest. He might very well understand that his presidential run is pretty much over. It's dead in the water. Again, it's for a lot of these guys, the Iowa caucuses is a real test, a real metric of where they stand. And after the Iowa caucuses, expect a couple of folks that did really poorly are going to drop out, especially if they're also not doing well in the upcoming states that are voting. And pretty soon you're going to be down to, Trump, Nikki Haley. I think Nikki Haley is going to pretty much, she'll stay in the fight all the way till the end. Just because I think, again, she is banking on Trump not being in the country and then the Republican Party asking her to be their candidate. So I think she's going to stick it out to the end. DeSantis, I think, will stick it out to the end, or stick it out as long as possible, either if he gets the nomination, which I really don't see happening, or, as long as it's financially viable for him to do that. Let's see. Will Trump get the Republican nomination? Little four-carder. Might as well just ask, right? Got the cards right here. There's that burden card. Will he get the nomination? Yeah, it's going to be a real tough road. It's going to be real tough. I wonder if the King of Wands comes up again. Queen of Swords. I think the reality is, no, you're not getting this thing. Be real with yourself. You have a state to govern. And the laugh is for this next card is you got a state to govern and you got lawsuits that are going to take up your time. This is the Disney thing. You went and picked a fight with Mickey Mouse and now you got to fight to save your butt from Mickey Mouse here. I think when he does end his campaign, he'll do it quickly. This could be him benefiting financially from his campaign, which I don't doubt for a moment. The ending of his campaign could be because he no longer has the financial donors that are offering him money to help his presidential run, so he has to make that decision. Or it could be the Disney lawsuits that you have to deal with, and that's going to take a lot of Florida's money, And if Florida's money goes away, then all of a sudden people of Florida, you may not be winning your own state. That would be amazing if he is in the primaries by the time they come to Florida and he loses Florida to Trump. If that happens, he's out. Because the reality is, if you can't even carry your own state, how can you hope to carry the country? No, he's not going to make it. It's too much work. He's got others. He's going to have other things he's going to need to concern himself with. Okay. We have Chip Roy, evangelical leaders. Oh, money. How's his campaign doing financially speaking? How is Ron DeSantis's funding for his campaign going? Is he properly funded? Maybe that's the proper way, the nice way to say it. Is he properly funded? Not adequately. Adequately too. Is he adequately funded? Is he properly funded? Does he have the funding he needs to keep going on, or is funding an issue for him? Ace of Swords. It's a point. Let's just do the whole 6 cards. We do a 4-quarter. It's a big point. I guess he thinks that so long as he's the star of the show and he keeps up whatever his mantra is, that his candidacy is viable, and if it's viable, the money is coming in. But the thing, so it's not even really talking about money at this point. It's talking about him and his attitude and his path forward here with the Ace of Swords. But he's also a victim of his own rhetoric. He says stuff that then ties him to the things he said. He can't unsay them and undo them later. So something may seem like it's a power move, a real star move at the moment, but as time goes by, this is like, yeah, I supported Adolf Hitler from day one, and he's really done great things for Germany, and I'm fully on board with being a Nazi. And then a couple years later, being tied to the Nazi party was a millstone around your neck. This could also be, tied to Donald Trump or his actions as the governor of Florida. It's that type of thing. And then there's the consequences as the long-term play pans out. We're asking about money, but we're not getting money things. We got the Lover's card here. This is, again, it could be. This is DeSantis talking with his donors, talking with his campaign, and coming up with their battle plan to launch his presidential bid, which is not going well right now. Currently, his money is okay. I know that, again, there were stories saying that he was short on money, but I think currently, right now, as things stand, he's okay with their financing. He has enough to get him through short-term stuff. And he could very well think that, as long as he gets these endorsements and keeps going forward, the money will come in and the support will come in. I don't think he's set for the whole campaign. I just think he feels like he's in a solid position right now with potential for more money coming in. The overarching energy is the King of Cups. I think it's trying to keep his emotions in check and not stress out over money, stress out over Trump, not lose his temper. When he loses his temper, he gets sidetracked and derailed. So I think he's trying to keep himself on an even keel, so to speak. The lesson to be learned is if he feels like he acts presidential, he's going to be welcomed in. He's going to be accepted. He's going to do better in the polls. He'll get more endorsements and brought into more camps, and that's going to empower his campaign. The outcome is the Queen of Swords, though, but then there's a reality. The reality of it all is he may be able to do all of this, but at the end of the day, he's not Donald Trump. And as the mantra goes, from Bo with the fifth column. You can't win a primary without Trump's support, and you can't win a general election with Donald Trump's support. So, he's trying to get that presidential nomination. I think just the reality is it's not going to happen, and he's going to be his own undoing with stuff that he said. Stuff that seems to stuff that resonates now or resonated in the past with his political base is going to come back and blow up in his face. If you're talking about like getting rid of immigrants and coming up with your you have to show your citizenship papers and stuff like that in order to work in Florida. Yeah, you hit an absolute home run with the Republicans in Florida, especially the ones that don't like illegal immigrants or haven't managed to be scared with illegal immigrants. But guess what? When the rains are coming and the roof is still not up on their house, or their house that they're building isn't ready and now it's going to get rained on and it's going to be ruining all the framing that's up, but it's not protected. Whatever. The farmers who can't get people to work their fields to harvest the crops that are out there, and the people that basically rely on that immigrant labor. They're going to look at him in a different light because, conceptually, they're all on board with the idea until they're impacted. And when they're impacted, all of a sudden they realize maybe it wasn't such a good idea. And they know who's been championing it because he's been crowing about it for a year. So you pay the price for it. That's where that Eight of Swords, that's where the Ace of Swords and that Eight of Swords come into play there. So all the stuff he's been taking credit for is going to come back and bite him in the butt. At least the low energy stuff anyways. So, DeSantis, I'm not too worried about him. I think that he probably won't, well, he can't run for governor for re-election after that. He'll be term limited out. But I don't think his political career is going anywhere, not in the presidency. And I don't think there's any future for him in Florida politics either. He'll be just one of those people that hopefully 10 years from now we will have forgotten and hopefully never hear from again. We should be so lucky. Thank you for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you for all your likes and comments and shares and everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm so my video has a chance to make it out to a wider range of audience. And to those new viewers that have just discovered the channel, welcome to the channel. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.